I guess that's where the teenager died, hey?
That window right there.
Which one? The one with the air conditioning?
Yeah.
So I guess were they trafficking her in there?
I have no idea. All I know is
A fentanyl junkie? Wow.
and a dealer of sorts. But the guy that was managing this place, he's long gone now. He was a piece of shit that ran this
He was
place
a
to the
piece
ground.
of shit. So he knew the 14-year-old was in there, right?
No.
No? Okay, they didn't let her out?
We didn't know. No, we had no idea.
You had no idea. So what they do is they just pulled
What
them in the
I'll
apartment.
tell you is that before he died,
Uh-huh.
he had been packing his room to the ceiling with stuff. We didn't know why. And I've smelled that many times, that sweet smell.
Yeah, I've smelled it down here.
I did not, what I was smelling coming out of the room, I lived in the house when I was in the building once every 2 weeks for a bit of maintenance.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with whatever. But you could smell it. I could tell that that guy got the worst laundry I ever smelled. It lacked that sweetness.
Yeah.
So we didn't know, not even the cops knew, because it smelled different. He must have used some kind of chemical or something.
Oh, so she died first?
The 2 women died first.
There was 2 women? They never told us about the 2 women.
Well, maybe I'm talking, yeah, there's 3 altogether. There's 2 women, and then, so what happened was,
Did they overdose?
probably,
Okay.
so his room was right full, but his bed was against the inner wall. You come in the door, that's his bed, and everyone else is buried in there. Then these guys, and you hear from him, so if he's having it, you open the door and then get on the bed, and not even the police found everything falling off that way.
How did they find them when they moved the stuff out?
When finally when enough time passed for their investigation that they allowed us to put, not me, but us to get them to clean out the room,
Yeah.
the manager at the time hired 2 guys from the Salvation Police and they threw it out there and turned it back. And they found the bodies. Next thing you know...
How old was the one girl? The other one? Was it a woman?
2 or 3.
Well, one was 14, so that's still a kid.
Yeah. The other one was older, not older, but a woman of sorts.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. It's always sad walking by here.
I'm going to tell you something though. The owner, they came around and they trusted this manager. This manager, he was a bit something
Not
wrong
far?
with his head. He had the company had a 6-figure schedule. He had brought in a bunch of the worst people so that they couldn't expose his lack of doing a good job.
Wow.
It was basically total incompetency.
Incompetence. Wow.
When he's gone, and then he's losing
Yeah.
we cleaned this place up. I know people very, very well. And I said, we kicked out all the bad ones,
Kicked all the bad ones out.
renovated whatever rooms were left.
Yeah.
I got very skilled hands. We interviewed, we've got only one wealthy person in there. There's a place for everybody, but for this place we chose proper independent people.
People, yeah.
You
I'm
know,
on disability, but as soon as I turn 65, I'm getting the hell out of Canada. I'm sick of being second-class citizen to
well,
drugs.
that's what we got.
You know?
That's what we got.
And you know what? They want to go after the depressed kids with the MAID program
This is what
and the
happens.
depressed
This is what happens.
And these guys are VIP, and their medical people stood up for them, so they're not MAID qualified.
And you know what?
So no euthanization
You
for
know
them.
what this country produced to us?
What?
Left-wing politics.
Yeah, I know.
And liberals.
Yeah, fucking wackos with no soul. Thanks. So, I guess the guy before he died was hiding 2 dead women in his apartment to begin with. And the landlord was so bad, not the people that own the building, the caretaker, that he brought in a bunch of shitty welfare people that, so it made him look better. Believe me, I've lived, you know, I may be on welfare, disability welfare, but I've lived with these welfare people that fucking ruin their apartments. Just total them, the druggies. That kind of pisses me off hearing the story. They didn't tell us enough information, you know, the fake news, just enough to keep me curious. So, in my last building, before I moved in, the person sounded like that person. Heroin addict, had a bunch of women overdosing in his apartment that I used to live in. It was a death apartment, and he got kicked out. So I wonder if he got a job or got a place there. But one of the tenants told me. I was a little upset to hear about it, you know, because I would have rather not known. But the person that told me ended up getting murdered by fentanyl. Of course, to get murdered by fentanyl down here, it's a free pass. Nobody's going to charge you down here. So many people are murdered, and all they do is they put overdoses. We're off home for a morning adventure. Still can't go downtown. Just so pissed off what I learned about Canada. How disgusting. And it's very demonic to kill kids. What does the Bible say about, you harm a kid? You know, it would be better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and jump in a freaking ocean than to hurt a kid. But here you are, Canada, wanting to take them out and calling it made. I mean, I'm just hearing horrible stories after horrible stories. It's really horrible. They put in women's prison a woman, 24 years old, that had the mentality of a small child, doesn't always know what age she is. And then the MPs, they're the people that are now something else, you know, were like, you know, got caught saying, you know what would be good for her? The MAID program. Oh, you don't think she deserves to live? You fucking wacko liberals. So, to think that the druggies are before the depressed kids, and they spend billions and billions on them. You know, thousands of dollars per month on them.
Family, friends, and strangers gathered Tuesday evening for a vigil for Noelle Osoup. The 14-year-old Indigenous girl was one of two people found dead in an apartment building in Vancouver's downtown east side in early May, a year after being reported missing in Port Coquitlam.
She's just a 14-year-old girl, a sweet kid, very sweet kid. I met some of her other family members, some younger ones, and the family is distraught. They're so sad. It's a huge loss to them, but also our community.
Families, some of whom traveled from Kamloops and Saskatchewan, where Osoup was from, say she was in government care when she went missing. They're critical of the Ministry of Child and Family Development and police efforts to find her.
They want people to know that something terrible has happened to Noelle. They want answers. They have a lot of questions that need to be answered. This is a pure example of the racism in the child welfare system. She was in foster care. She was in the system.
We need our women, our children to be protected. MCFD needs to do better. She was in their care.
A cause of death has not yet been determined, but last week, Vancouver police said everything is on the table.
The cause of both these people's death, Noelle and the other person, right now is unknown. So that's something that we are working with the coroner to determine cause of death and the circumstances surrounding both their deaths.
Osoup's death comes as the search for Tatiana Harrison, an Indigenous woman who went missing in late April, continues. It also comes after the recent discovery of the body of Chelsea Portman, an Indigenous woman who went missing in 2020. In Vancouver, Monica Gould, City News.